Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Shorty September. This is a BookTube event that is rapidly running out of days, where we concentrate on really small books in our collections, or in the library, or in the bookstore. But I've been concentrating on books in my collection. I've been rereading, re-encountering things, the tiny little wisps of things that tend to fall between the cracks, that tend to get lost in all the gigantic behemoth books that I admit I really love. Today I am showing you one that I've shown on this channel before. I just love it. It's a cute little thing that I found in 2015, 10 years ago. It's William and His Friends. Tiny little thing. This is from 1936, and it is a collection of photographs of the animals in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, herded together by Elizabeth Narramore. And there is William, starting off the collection, and also, as you can see, ending the collection, where he's lumbering away. William is a 4,000-year-old ancient Egyptian sculptor of a hippo. And unfortunately, this thing being printed in 1936 really doesn't do William justice, because he's brilliant blue. Really striking blue. He's an amazing creation that is still around now, 4,000 years later. It was not the product of a king, of a pharaoh. He was the product of a civil servant who still made enough money, still was wealthy enough to have a tomb and to fill it with carvings of all kinds. And what Elizabeth Narramore does is just go through the museum and give you little page-by-page pictures of some of the huge number of animals that are represented in the museum. Like this one is a camel. Camels are often found among the tomb figures in China. Those with saddle packs were intended as burden carriers for the soul on its journey after death. And this is from China, 7th century China. We have this team of oxen is part of a set of barnyard animals. They were cast in bronze in the days of the Caesars. Perhaps they were used as playthings. They certainly were. This was from a toy set in 1st century Rome, of oxen pulling a plow, something you would give to a little child to play with. But also throughout here are newer things, much newer things. Look at that. That is just lovely. That is a peccary, a relative of a pig, carved from a block of black granite. Just the sculptor had a block of granite and carved a beautiful pig out of that block. There are some in here. Some of the things in here are my favorites. Some of them have stories to tell. This is from 20th century France. Francois Pompon always seemed to make friends with his models, and they seemed to enjoy posing for him. The polar bears were great favorites of his. Although they are often fierce, he found them as playful as kittens. This one is carved from white marble. And notice the lack of detail there. Artistic choice there. Can't help but wonder whenever I read that description how this sculptor died. I'm assuming that he was killed and eaten by a polar bear. And we have, here's a 20th century Spanish rooster that is done in wrought iron. And it is right next to a 5th century Greek horse. And really neat little discoveries like that all throughout here. We have Copenhagen pottery of ducks there. And this ape, look at that. That is just incredible. What do we learn about that? Stoneware is the sturdiest type of pottery. Knud Knin, Copenhagen, used it to make this powerful ape. The colors are gray, green, brown, and a deep blue, and it's from Denmark in the 20th century, and so on and so forth. It's just a handful of pages, 30 pages. I imagine. I don't know for sure. I've never researched the provenance of this book, but I imagine that it was sold as a keepsake at the museum 100 years ago. It probably even came with a dust jacket. I found it like this and was very happy that I did. I found it at the Brattle Bookshop here in Boston, out in the sale lot, which is, any of you have heard me talk about it or maybe been there, it's crammed with books. It's a total haphazard potpourri of books. in order to find something like this, you really have to be picking through the books one by one, as I tend to do. Minimum visit for me in the sale lot is an hour long. Even if I go there every day, it's still an hour long. And because of that, I tend to find tiny little gems like this. This would also work for Framed, another September BookTube event about art. But I have another book in mind for that. I just wanted to show you this. This is William and His Friends. This will not survive me. It's not meant to. It was a tiny little keepsake. And I have never seen another copy of it, so I'll hold on to it as long as I can. And then once the binding finally breaks and this is no longer a book that you can page through, I will use the trimmed and shaped pages of the artwork as bookmarks. So it'll just continue along those lines. I won't be able to save it. But it's holding up fairly well, considering how often I feel the need to just visit with William and His Friends. It's holding up fairly well. But anyway, there you go. That's Shorty September for today. And I'll be back tomorrow with another pick. So I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.